Have you ever wondered what is the spiritual meaning of something that occurred in your life, right? We all wonder, what is the spiritual significance of things going on in our life? Or maybe you're looking for signs from the universe. Maybe you laugh about concepts around this. Regardless, if you're somebody who wants to dive deep into the spiritual meaning and what we truly believe from a metaphysical standpoint and from a perspective of what happens in consciousness and how it projects out into life and communicates back to you via the universe, then you definitely want to listen to this podcast. Welcome to the Dr. Erin Podcast. This is a top spiritual psychology coach podcast to inspire and teach you how to transform your trauma, birth your soul's purpose, and manifest your dreams. Hi, I'm Dr. Erin, Doctor of Divinity. I'm committed to bringing you the best coaching tips, spiritual advice, trauma healing, and metaphysical recovery secrets. I'm here to help you monetize your spiritual gifts and love your life. I want you to know that I've been exactly where you are, and I believe in you. Together, we're awakening the world. Hi, my soul family. I'm really excited to break this on down for you because tonight I had a very mystical and magical night, and I was inspired to record it for you. So earlier this evening, early evening, I had a meeting with my team, and we were discussing events, in-person events. We haven't done in-person events since before the pandemic. And it's been something that we keep coming back to, but we've been so busy with all the online stuff and building an extraordinary community and doing so much. And there's so much that happens in it. So we keep coming back to events in our meetings because we're going over the topics that we need to discuss. And each time we come to this topic, we kind of get stuck a little bit. And we realized tonight that we're definitely committed to doing events, but we didn't really feel a flow around how or what that looks like or when exactly. And so we decided to put it into consciousness because that's what we do. Whenever we're feeling stuck, we don't keep trying to analyze it and figure it out. We go to the great divine mind and we allow truth to come through. So we decided to do that. We ended the meeting and I decided I was going to go out on my evening bike ride and do some spiritual scientific prayer and begin to, really contemplate it and allow whatever miracles were to come through. So I got on my bike and as soon as I went out my building, I realized it was sprinkling and it looked really dark over in the clouds. And I thought, man, I should probably go inside because where I'm at in Palm Beach, when it rains, it dumps, like it's no joke. And so I kind of contemplated for a moment, but I just had this really strong feeling that I needed to go on this bike ride and I needed to do some deep work around the consciousness around events and what that looked like. And I really wanted to commune with my higher self and really allow the miracles to come through. So I decided to keep going. So I decided I was just going to keep going. And I decided to go the direction kind of away from the clouds. And I thought, well, I can maybe outrun it a little bit, or, maybe I can get to a place that I want to be and then the storm will come through. So I went across the bridge and yes, it was sprinkling, kind of light. And I was coming down and I started doing a little bit of intentional work. And I thought, you know what, I'm going to put it into consciousness. So what I do when I'm doing a spiritual mind treatment, you could call it, or a spiritual scientific prayer or affirmative prayer, doesn't matter what you call it, going into consciousness. And I set the intention of show me, let me know and bring clarity around these events and what is to happen as far as, do I have confirmation? Should we wait longer? What is there? And I began to bike ride along. And the first kind of consciousness that came in was about divine signs. And for some reason, I kind of thought, why is this conversation coming in about divine signs and signs from the universe? And I began to think do we really believe in signs, from the universe? The universe is just responding to us. The universe doesn't do anything. It's responding to consciousness, right? And right as I said that, I went around this little kind of corner on my bike, and all of a sudden, hundreds and hundreds of dragonflies flew all around me. They flew all around me, all above me. And it was this mystical and magical moment. And I stopped my bike because I was in such awe. And I realized right in that moment that I had just asked my higher self about having signs. And so I'm sitting there and for a moment, I'm like, oh my gosh, is this source kind of telling me, no, there are signs, right? And then I flash to what's in my book, which is really what we teach, which is serendipity. right? There's a serendipity place that we are in when we're in a confirmation of what we love, of that blissful state. And we've all experienced that moments where the most magical and mystical moments happen. And so I was there for a few moments and I was watching all the dragonflies and I was giggling. I was literally giggling. And I was just looking up at them and just soaking in this moment. And the clouds began to come in further and further. I thought, well, I'm a couple blocks from where I could get coverage, so I better get on my bike and go. So I began to get on my bike and the dragonflies kind of swirled around a little bit. And then I kept going a little bit further. And sure enough, it began to rain. And I was right next to this open kind of mall area, this beautiful mall. So I decided to take my bike inside. And as I rode my bike right inside, because there was no one around, this dragonfly followed in right next to me, and he flew right next to me, and he flew on. And it was just this beautiful thing. And then right away, the storm came, and it thundered, and it lightning, and it crashed. And all this rain came tumbling down, like pouring like you can't imagine. It was pouring, like everything, like the skies opened and the seas parted, right? And it came down so strong. And I just sat there, just so happy to just be in this mystical experience and just so grateful with not one concern about the rain. I thought, well, it's going to pass, or I can call an Uber, right? Who cares? I just sat in the beauty of it. I just sat in the beauty of it again, sitting in the beauty. And this is what I do when I go into prayer. It's not about praying to the man in the sky. It's really not even praying to even become something. It's really in the miracle of what is. And in sitting in that miracle space, that space of gratitude, that space of the awe, that space of ecstasy, it shifts everything. The rain began to kind of die down. It wasn't that long, maybe 20 minutes at the most. This incredible sunset began, of these incredible fuchsia pinks, orange, and blue skies behind. It was the most beautiful, amazing thing. And I got on my bike and I rode out. I felt like a little kid. There was like these puddles, and I was going through the puddles, and I couldn't help but swirl around in circles and look up at the trees. And it was just so beautiful. And I began to laugh and giggle again. And I'm riding my bike along. It wasn't even half a block. And this huge, huge rainbow, all the way, full rainbow, right in front of me. And I began to have tears of joy, because it was this feeling of knowing, I know that I am here on this planet to bring truth. And I know I'm here to do events to have us come together as a community, for us to know the truth, for us to really bring this movement forward on such a level, so that all the teachers and practitioners and all the coaches can be showcased, and they can also come together and bring in their voice. And so I rode along my bike more, and I couldn't help. I had to take some pictures, and I actually put it on my Instagram tonight. You can go to my story there. And it was so beautiful. I don't know if I've ever seen a more beautiful sunset. The pinks and the oranges and the blues behind it, and the palm trees and the puddles on the ground. And I felt like I was just flying. I literally felt like a dragonfly flying through the air with zero weight. And that's the way I feel. I get so out of body sometimes. And I realize that there's some distinctions to make here. Okay. There's some really great distinctions to make here. So what I want to discuss are these three things: how to read the signs from the universe, how to discover the spiritual meaning of signs, and how to communicate and get confirmation from source. So you can believe anything you want, and we never want to make anyone wrong for their belief systems, okay? But from a metaphysical perspective, from a science of mind, from a place of understanding consciousness and how it works, we know that the universe only sends us signs that are a reflection of where we're at. So, for example, in my book, we have a distinction about serendipity versus zemblanity. Zemblanity is the outpicturing of what we don't want to see. It could be see something horrific or something not good, or resistance, or your relationships going down, feeling stuck, feeling resistance, feeling angst, feeling suffering, right? That's the zemblanity of the outpicturing of consciousness. The serendipity is when we're in flow, when we're in a state of non-resistance, when we're in love, we're in that flow state, the currency and all that stuff, and things show up. Butterflies show up, people show up, these signs and the serendipity of all of it, right? That person you thought of 2 minutes ago happens to call you right in that moment, right? That's a serendipity moment, okay? But when people look to the world for signs, they're placing power outside of themselves, meaning that yes, we look to the universe's signs. We should at all points in time, not just looking for, the butterfly in the sky, but everything. We call it the mental equivalent. We call it the vibrational match. Wherever we're at, you can look at someone's life. You can look at your life and know exactly where you are, if you're in flow or not in flow, or if you should be somewhere or in a relationship or in that event, because it's either a hell yes or it's a no. You're either in flow or you're stuck in resistance. There's just a simple thing called universal law. And it works for precision. So what's the spiritual meaning? There is no meaning. It's whatever meaning you put on it. Yes, there are meanings around things like, what is the embodiment of a dragonfly, right? When you look up the meaning of a dragonfly, right? Dragonflies are incredible. They're almost like the butterfly. They come and they live in water for a long time. And then they actually, they transform just like a butterfly and they become the dragonfly. And they mostly live most of their life underwater. And then they actually, when they finally bloom, they finally transform. It's a very short-lived life. It's this miraculous time with these beautiful wings, very fairy-like, very beautiful, very translucent, very incredible. And when they fly very fast and straight, like almost, they can go anywhere. It's almost like a helicopter, right? They're so light and so agile. A lot of people will have tattoos and swords representing through Asian art and different things of these beautiful dragonflies, because they can do anything. They're free. And so what does this mean for you? What does this mean? And how to communicate and get confirmation from source. So I can't speak for you. I can't tell you what your answers are to these things. It's against my ethical spiritual practice to tell you the way it is. But what I can say is how I communicate and how I commune and can get confirmation from source is when my heart and when my intuition and when it just says, hell yes, everything is a confirmation of yes. Everything flows, everything is miraculous. That is a hell yes, okay? And whenever I'm not in flow, when I'm in resistance, my confirmation is when I'm in stuck traffic, when I'm in angst, when I'm frustrated. That means I'm not in alignment with my truth. So I'm not going to look to see some sign to get that confirmation. I can just feel into my body. I don't need any confirmation anywhere. I can just feel into my consciousness. I don't need a sign out there, but it's really fun when there's a sign out there. It's really a game to see the dragonflies and know, oh my gosh, I'm in the intention of what one of my greatest dreams is to have events where we do and live these principles that we teach and transform people's lives and let them shed their old ways, just like the dragonfly, and have them birth their true self, right? Isn't that the point of it? It's said that dragonflies also predict weather. They predict also knowing that there is this time to seize the moment. Because just like the dragonfly doesn't have very much time once they bloom, life is precious. It goes by in an instant, especially when we're living our bliss. It's just a beautiful breath, this thing called life. So for you, you might want to think about where you are. Are you living your truth or are you not? Are you loving your life or not? Are you in flow or are you not? Are you still stuck in that old skin, or are you ready to peel it off and let it go and release it and live free? And so I invite you to seize this moment, to live your truth. And so my confirmation is to absolutely have events, absolutely speak from stage, absolutely bring truth around the globe. Absolutely, this is what I'm born to do. There's nothing better than being a conduit for divine, being a channel for divine, and holding consciousness for my clients and watching their lives transform right before my eyes. When I get a note or message or an email and someone is confirming how this work has transformed their life and their life will never be the same. Their relationships, their family, their health, their lineage, they've healed their ancestral everything. This is why we do what we do. And so I ask you a favor. You're in my community, you're here, you're listening right now. I ask for you to hold in consciousness the most profound events for our community, the most profound, life-changing, heartfelt events across the globe. And I say yes. And it is confirmed because my word is law. As together we say, and so it is. So to break it down just a little bit further, we absolutely believe in oneness. We believe and know the truth that you are the universe. So there's not a sign out there. All of life is a reflection of what's happening at the soul, the individualized soul, and of course, which is one with the divine soul. So when we're in our total space of bliss and in our truth, we open up, there's no restriction. So the mini mind opens up to the divine mind, and it feels like one dynamic serendipitous experience. And when we close down the mind and we restrict, and where it's a no, which means we're restricting, we're resisting, we're in a limited belief, a limited identity, we're cutting ourselves off, and it feels divided. And when we feel divided, we're in that Zemblanity state where we feel like everything is wrong and everything isn't showing up how we want it to. And so we're literally looking to the world sometimes for answers. And it's fun. If it's a game and you're playing the game and you're looking for signs, great. But just know that it's always just a reflection of what's happening in the soul. And when you're in flow, it flows. And when you're not in flow, it feels like the world's against you. So know the truth that you are one, you are the universe. And there's nothing to look outside of thyself, that you have all the answers, you have all the wisdom. When we learn and to tap into that, we recognize everything's just a reflection of what's happening in mind, okay? And yes, we believe in angels and extraterrestrials and spirit animals and all that. We don't not believe in the mysticism and the beauty and the magic and the miracles of life. It's just that we know that we're also that you're also all of that. And so there's nothing actually, we don't believe in miracles. We believe there's only expansion of consciousness, that everything is you, that is all the dynamic, that you are me, I'm you, and all of life. And so when we turn on our highest self, everything's miraculous because we're living in the dynamic of that unity and that oneness and that flow of the ever giving of abundance and gifts from all dynamics. Have a beautiful, blessed day, and may you live the truth. If you're not already a member of our extraordinary community, I want to tell you that your life is about to take a quantum leap. Soulciety is the #1 spiritual community for coaches, practitioners, leaders, and soul-based entrepreneurs who are ready to monetize their spiritual gifts. It is the place for launching and scaling your soul-based biz. When you join Soulciety Spiritual Entrepreneurs, you'll get access to an actual real community. Not just a vault of videos, not just one call per month, not a bunch of digital masterclasses. You will actually get a real community that comes together every day of the week live online. You will get me as your mentor every week or for intensives. You will get daily live coaching calls with master coaches where you'll be able to do deep transformational work. Yes, you'll also get my entire vault of life-changing processes and teachings. You will learn how to reprogram your subconscious mind, transform your trauma, and birth your soul's purpose. And you'll be able to master your mindset and skill set so you can become a powerful spiritual leader. Yes, you'll also learn the most trusted and proven 6-step sales and marketing system that 6, 7, and 8-figure coaches use to launch and scale their soul-based businesses online. You can work from home or you can journey the world in a laptop lifestyle. If you're not already a member, you're really missing out. Soulciety Spiritual Entrepreneurs is life-changing. You're going to feel like you finally found your soul family. You are not alone. Click the link below or go to soulciety.com. As soon as you register, you'll have instant access and be able to come on calls straight away. I'm super excited and honored to take this divine journey together. You have nothing to lose and everything to gain. Here are a few of our client wins. Sandy said, Dr. Erin in this community is the best gift I've ever received from the universe. I had never felt that I belonged or could trust. I hadn't ever known self-love until I discovered this incredible community. Lindsay said, E4 Trauma Method directly resulted in my first ever 15K month. E said a 20K month with this much ease was just a dream and hope 6 months ago. It was wishful thinking because I doubted myself so much. This work is so real. It truly is miraculous what can happen and how fast when we surrender, do the spiritual work. So remember, you don't have to do this alone. Go to soulciety.com and say yes to your dreams today. That's SOULCIETE.com.